Hey, where are you watching this video from? Let me know in the comments. Today I have an incredible story for you, one filled with revenge, mistakes, and consequences. Let's dive in and see what really happened. First story. I heard this one from a friend talking about its acquaintance, so I could not vouch for it. About 5 or 6 years ago, there was an article in newspaper stating that a delinquent student, DS, burns his strict teacher's ST house. One of my friends told me while we were hanging out at coffee shop that he knew the student and what transpired the incident. DS was your typical delinquent. Skip school, fighting, bad grades, etc. And apparently he failed to show up for final exam, so he has to repeat a grade, which was, and now still is, a fucking big thing in my country. A bit background. The schooling system in my place is a bit different. Each class was assigned to a teacher whom we called supervisor. Once you were in a class, you stayed in it until graduation, and so did the supervisor, meaning you, your classmate, and the supervisor would stick together until you left the school. The supervisors, because they stayed that long with a class, knew student full well and were granted total authority over the student's demeanor, i.e., they could freaking suspend you from school without consulting the principal as long as they could later explain it. Anyway, if you were to ever repeat a grade, the school did not allocate you into class. You had to run around the school and ask a supervisor to take you in their class. And no supervisor would like to take in a student who repeated a grade. Long story short, DS was fucked. DS's mother came to school as soon as she heard that and met up with ST at school gate. According to my friend, she literally got on her knees and begged ST to spare her son, but ST remained resolute. Eventually, DS's mother felt that begging was not enough, so she turned to threatening to assault ST. ST still stood his ground. After that, ST did get assaulted. DS's family was loan sharks, so they had a bunch of lackeys as repo men. The lackeys blocked ST's motorcycle at the middle of the road and attempted to whoop his ass, but they happened to do it in front of an illegal lottery store, which hindered his business. So the owner got pissed and confronted them with a fucking machete. ST got away scot-free. Of course, even an idiot should know who was the one behind that. So instead of making DS repeat a grade, Saint insisted on expelling DS, which he succeeded after catching him on a fight between school gangs. Some more background. If you repeated grade, then with enough money you could start fresh at a new school. But if you ever got expelled, no school would take you in. Long story short, DS got fucked even more. Fast forward to the July, when summer vacation began. ST has a big garden with over 20 fruit trees behind his house, which was his family's main income. One fine night, the entire garden was set ablaze. The fire also spread to his house, but his family and the neighbor managed to put it out, but only after it ate away half of the furniture on the first floor. I have no clue about what happened to ST's or DS's family afterward, because my friend did not want to poke his nose too deep in that shit. Second story. I actually took part in this one, so everything down here was true. A bit more background about me. I was rebellious during elementary, so in junior high, I got thrown into quite a troublesome class. For better understanding, let's say it like this. Even though it was not official nor legal, student was distributed into each class in school based on their scoreboard and demeanor before enrollment. Normally, A class is the best, and then B and C and D and so on. I was sent into classes 6th. Junior high in my country started from 6th grade, so you've got the gist of it. My class mostly consisted of students like me, but there was 12/49 of us being real delinquent whose parents were loan sharks, gang members, drug dealers, etc. Some of us has really good grade but big problem on demeanor, so there we were. Our supervisor was strict teacher. She was filthy rich, and she only taught because of passion. Thus, she always took the class from G below. In the first day at school, she made sure to tell us that we were trash, and she was willing to help us if we wanted to change. Anyway, she wasn't the target of revenge, and we actually got on quite a good term with her at the end of junior high. One of our supervisor's golden rules was to not bother teacher during lecture time, and we followed it to some extent. But there was this English teacher, ET, that we really hated, and it was not the delinquent ones, but us better students in class that had problem with her. We hated her because of her attitude and her teaching. She made a lot of mistakes during teachings that fucking costed us point on test, and when we reported to her, she lashed out on us. When we used words that were not in the textbook, she immediately crossed it, and we have to line up with dictionaries in our hand to prove to her that the words in fact existed, and still got lashed while she fixed the score. Sometimes she refused our request. The funniest thing was when she ridiculed my friend from elementary about his accent during speaking lesson. Come on, dude had an English father, born in fucking London, and stayed there until 2nd grade. At home, his parents only spoke English because his father was too old to learn new language. It was freaking awkward to visit his house, so he got to keep that pretty accent. I used to ask him to read me stories so that I could train my speaking by mimicking him. To sum up, until present time, I still questioned her academic ability. Our first confrontation with ET was at 7th grade, when we all signed in a pledge to switch teacher. School did not give a shit, and we were stuck with ET. Life was hard after that. None of us ever got more 7.5 out of 10 in speaking and writing tests. Reading and listening tests were done in choose the right answer fashion so she could temper it. You needed 6.5 to pass a subject, and if you fail it, since school offered no makeup class or summer class, you fucking repeated a grade. Thanks to the fact that final exam was not scored by ET, we all ascended to higher grade, but our scoreboard was so low that everyone was on edge. Things got better at 8th grade because we literally stopped caring. To get to senior high, you participate in a national exam which consisted of math and literature. So English was not a big deal. We feigned nice in front of her and hold seminar at home to teach ourselves. I was the first one to stop give a shit, and somehow ET deciphered it as me turning over a new leaf, so I got on her good side. The delinquent group was too hot-blooded for that, so they were kind of suffering, and they planted a revenge plot. One day the delinquent boy, DB, sat in front of me, approached me with his group. He and I was good friend because I helped him to cheat an exam. Believe me, it was not that uncommon in our school. DB, hey, you're close to ET, right? Me, kinda. DB, I need your help. Me, laugh. I won't help you cut people. None of them had done it either, but they were once suspended for 3 weeks for supplying knives to seniors at other school for a gang fight. DB, laugh. Joke aside, I need you to keep ET after school as long as possible, like from 5 to 5:30 p.m., 30 minutes after school. Me, for tomorrow? DB, no, as long as it needs. In the end, I agree to keep her company at Wednesday and Friday because it's fucking weird to cling on to a teacher every single days. I pretended to not understand something in class and asked her. I searched for hard problem online and brought it to her. Eventually, I did not have to do it anymore because she literally turned me into her lackeys, brewing tea, carrying paper, scoring quizzes, etc. Things carried on for 1.5 months or 7 weeks something. Those were the last time I had ever seen ET. Don't worry, she's not dead yet. On one afternoon, after keeping ET busy, I left school and found DB waiting for me outside of school. He told me that I could stop licking ET's boots and treated me for dinner. On Monday, we had English at first period. A brand new teacher showed up, saying that ET could not come and she would substitute her. Words came out that she got involved in an accident. The new teacher was a hot babe, and it really gave us motivation to study. She just finished college 2 years ago and was newly employed, so she got our class because her senior knew better than to fuck with us. I asked DB about ET's sudden absence, and he told me that since I could not keep a secret from myself, he could not tell me because police might get involved. It seemed that he was right. Otherwise, why the fuck was I here? I was scared, so I did not push the matter. ET returned to school at the beginning of our final year. We were freaked out that she would be teaching us again, and we asked our supervisor to do something about it. Our supervisor saw that we actually liked the teacher for the first time, so she decided to support us. We got to keep the cool teacher. Fast forward 2 years, after I graduated, I returned to my junior high as alumni with my old friends one day before National Teachers Day. We chatted on the coffee shop near the school while waiting for the final period, which they allowed alumni to enter the school to meet their old teachers. The topic of ET eventually came up. It seemed that she got caught in an accident because her motorcycle's brake went out. She crashed into some luxurious stores, crippled her legs, wrecked her ride, and had PTSD that required 2 pills a day. Moreover, the store demanded compensation and she had to sell her house to pay them. Now she lived in a degraded apartment alone because her husband left her. It did not take half a brain cell to link the event, and I immediately searched for DB in our group. He was not there, but one of the guy on his group that approached me that day was. Our eyes met and he winked at me. More than enough for confirmation. After meeting our supervisor, our group decided to take a stroll around the school to see if we met any other old teachers. But I did not dare to stay. What do you think? Did these teachers deserve what happened to them? Or was the punishment too harsh? Share your thoughts in the comments, leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories.